The day I finally heard again, the first sound wasn't a voice. It was a lie breaking, a soft click from a phone across the room. Proof that everything I'd been told while I was deaf was never meant for me to hear. 2 years earlier, the accident erased sound from my life in a blink. One moment I was laughing with friends. The next I woke up to a world that moved without noise. Doctor spoke. My family cried. I watched mouths open and close like bad subtitles. Everyone promised they'd be there. Most of them vanished by winter. Silence teaches you things. It teaches you who is patient and who is pretending. It teaches you how people speak when they think you can't hear, because even when you're deaf, you still see everything. I learned to read lips. I learned to smile at sympathy that felt rehearsed. I learned how my manager leaned close to coworkers and said my name with pity, then with annoyance. I learned how my best friend stopped texting because it's awkward now. I learned how my cousin borrowed money and never paid it back, assuming I couldn't argue fast enough to stop him. Worst of all, I learned how my girlfriend stayed. She stayed just long enough to look loyal, just long enough to post photos, just long enough to whisper things she thought I'd never catch. "You deserve better than him," she told my brother once, right in front of me, while smiling at my face. "He's broken." I smiled back. Silence had made me good at that. Bills piled up. Work hours were cut temporarily. My manager sent emails praising my attitude, while quietly giving my projects to someone else. When I tried to complain, HR spoke slowly, loudly, like volume could fix anything. I went home and practiced reading lips in the mirror, so I wouldn't miss a single word again. Then a surgeon mentioned a procedure. Not a miracle, a chance. Months of tests, savings drained, signatures signed. I didn't tell anyone except my mother. Hope is fragile when people are watching you fail. The surgery took hours. When I woke up, the room was still quiet, but different, not empty. Waiting. Recovery was slow. Sounds came back like shy guests. First vibrations. Then echoes. Then a muffled world that made no sense. The doctor warned me. It would be overwhelming. He was right. I cried the first time I heard my own breath. I laughed when keys jingled. I froze when a car honked outside, and my heart remembered fear. I didn't tell anyone I could hear again. Not yet. For 2 weeks, I listened. I sat in rooms and nodded like before. I watched mouths move while my ears collected truth. At work, my manager joked that I was cheap inspiration. In meetings, they discussed replacing me once the paperwork cleared. My girlfriend, still calling herself that, told her friend she stayed because it looked good. My cousin bragged about the money he'd never return. And my brother? My brother planned to ask my girlfriend out once she finally left. Silence had taught me patience. Sound taught me timing. I started recording. Not everything. Just what mattered. Clear voices. Names. Dates. Promises broken out loud. I sent polite emails asking for clarifications I already had. I smiled in meetings and nodded at insults while my phone rested quietly on the table. Then I stopped pretending. The first person to learn the truth was my manager. I walked into his office alone and closed the door. When I spoke, he flinched. "You can hear?" he asked. "I've been hearing for a while." I said calm, enough to understand why my projects disappeared. His face drained the color. He stammered. I placed my phone on the desk and played a clip, his voice laughing, calling me a liability. The room filled with the sound he thought I'd never know. HR heard the rest. So did legal. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't threaten. I let sound do the work. By Friday, my role was restored, my pay corrected, and my manager was escorted out with a box. Next was my cousin. I invited him over for dinner. When he joked about borrowing more money, I pressed play. His own bragging filled the room. He paid me back the next morning without a word. Then came my girlfriend. I asked her to sit. I didn't accuse. I didn't argue. I played the clips. Her smile collapsed into silence, the kind that finally belonged to her. She cried. She explained. She blamed the pressure might change the accident. I listened. Then I opened the door. My brother texted later. I sent him one recording and blocked the number. The last sound I shared was the one that mattered most. I sat with my mother on the couch and told her everything. When she spoke my name, I heard love without effort. No subtitles. No guessing. The world didn't become kinder because I could hear again, but it became honest. And honesty has a sound, steady, undeniable, and impossible to mute. If you're watching this and thinking silence means weakness, remember this. Sometimes the quiet is just someone listening long enough to win.